All right, this is going to be the first video for Notes 45. We're going to solve these first problems on absolute value. And the first thing I want to talk about is, by definition, what absolute value is. So absolute value is the distance, all right, distance a number is from 0. And so if you've had a teacher in the past talk about, oh, absolute value, or had somebody refer to it as absolute value makes everything positive, they were probably thinking about the fact that, distance should be, it can't be negative, right? It's either 0 or a positive number. So here's how it's going to look, right? If you've got the absolute value of 3, what I'm asking you is, what is the distance from the number 3 to 0? Well, that's going to be 3 units away. And then if I ask you what's the distance, absolute value of -9, I'm asking you how far is -9 from 0 on the number line, and that's 9 units away. So that's what you might be thinking about if, you've heard somebody talk about, oh, it makes everything positive. But I want to be careful about that, because what I want to talk about here is, how are these values going to deal with, this idea that you could have something that is to the left of 0 or a number that is to the right of 0. So what I'm looking at in part here for part A is, I want a number that is 8 units away from 0. So if I think about the number line, all right, and I have 0 here, if I counted 8 units to the right, well, I would be at +8. So I could have x is equal to 8. But here's the other thing. If I counted 8 units to the left, then I could say, oh, well, x is equal to -8. So both of these numbers, right, +8, -8, if I take their absolute value, they are 8 units away from 0. So both of these are valid answers to this equation. Now, it's a little bit more complicated when your absolute value has an expression here. And so the way you're going to deal with this is, you're going to break this up into 2 equations. Your first equation is, we're just going to pretend that the absolute values don't exist, right? Just do x minus 2 is equal to 3. So we're going to assume that this expression is equal to a positive number. All right, cool, easy enough. But because it's absolute value, that expression could also have been -3, right? If this expression is 3, that's 3 units away from 0. But if this expression is -3, that is also 3 units away from 0. So this is going to create 2 equations here. One is equal to the positive, one is equal to the negative. And we're going to solve both of them. So add 2 to both sides. So that's going to get you x is equal to 5. Right, add 2 to both sides, x is equal to -1. And so both of these answers are true for part B. All right, let's talk about part C here. Part C is going to be the exact same thing I just did in part B. So I'm going to do the first expression, so 2x plus 6, and I'm going to set that equal to +14. And then I can have, well, that same expression, 2x plus 6 could equal -14. And so both of these are things that I'm going to, solve just like I would any equation. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So 2x equals, 14 minus 6 is 8. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 4. Whoops. Helps if I actually write my step here. Let's go ahead and subtract 6 from both sides. So 2x equals -20. Divide by 2. And I get x equals -10. So 2 answers here, x equals 4, x equals -10. I'm going to do a quick little erase on the equal sign and separate it from the -10 there so you can read a little bit better. Okay. Part D, same basic idea, right? Take the expression under or inside the absolute value. So 6x minus 2, that could equal +28. And the opposing view, right, the other view would be 6x minus 2 could equal -28. So let's go ahead and solve both of these. So 6x equals 30, divide both sides by 6. I'm going to get x equals 5. Add 2 to both sides, so 6x equals negative 24. No, that's not right. Negative 26. That's right. Divide both sides by 6. Negative 26 over 6 is not going to reduce, or not divide out nicely, but it can reduce. Both those are divisible by 2. So negative 13 over 3. Took me a second on that one. So 5 and negative 13 over 3. And there's one more little piece to the puzzle, and that's part E here. And part E is, well, it says the absolute value of x is equal to negative 9. And the answer is no. Just no, it's not. Here's the thing. Absolute value cannot equal a negative number, right? It's like saying, I want you to go run negative 9 miles. I don't even know what I just asked you to do. So when you have a situation where this absolute value is by itself and it is equal to a negative, you are going to tell me that this is a no solution. There is nothing that makes that true. Okay, absolute value by definition is a distance, and distances cannot be negative. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here. I will create other videos for the rest of this note sheet. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out and let me know. And other than that, I will see you in the next one.